Thank you. Okay, so thanks for that introduction. This is me. I've already had that introduction. Apart from 6 years in sales, I've spent 31 years in procurement and supply chain positions. All right, so who are DS Smith? DS Smith are a FTSE 100 packaging company. We've grown rapidly over the last 11 years, so we were 1 billion turnover in 2011. We're over 6 billion now, and that's come through 20 acquisitions that have been made. We are in 34 countries. We have 30,000 employees, and we are the full suite when it comes to packaging. So we're the largest recycler in Europe, 6 million tons of used corrugated a year. We turn that into recycled paper, 4 million tons, and then we take that paper and we turn it into box solutions for our customers across Europe. So kind of a full suite of offering of recycled packaging. Our purpose, which is redefining packaging for a changing world, is at the center of everything we do. And by being at the center of everything we do, it means it also has to be at the center of our operations, our manufacturing, and our procurement strategy. Our vision is to be a leading supplier of sustainable packaging. I'm going to talk about 3 things today. So I've been asked to talk about circular procurement and how that incorporates into a circular economy. But there are a number of things that you need to do first to get the basics within your organization before you can start talking to the company about challenging some of these norms. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the transformation journey that we went on and what put us in a place to be able to do that. And then how does that fit with the wider goals that the business has at DS Smith? So procurement transformation. First of all, transformation is a fundamental change to your business. It's transforming what you do. Why is it important? Well, we are in a changing world. NGOs, customers, shareholders, consumers, employees are all expecting more from your organization. And the business as was is not enough today. There's a lot of benefits from having a modern strategic procurement function. And the level of value creation that you can bring from differentiators like sustainability, like circularity, like innovation in product and process are essential for you to be a differentiating company. And what do you need? Well, you need, first of all, a willingness to change. You need some data. So we heard, I think, about data earlier this morning. And you need to be able to turn that data into information, into intelligence, and then take that intelligence and turn it into actions for your business. And if we get it wrong, we're in trouble today. So there are a lot of things potentially going to damage our supply chain if we do not take care of it. And whilst I do not believe there is enough teeth in legislation preventing some of these things from going on, I hope that will change in the near future. But we have a responsibility to make sure that our supply chain, that our brands, that our customers' brands are protected from inappropriate behavior going on. And it does go wrong from time to time. And there was an organization in the UK that got in trouble last year about having some illegal immigrants working in Leicestershire, and it had a significant impact on their business. It was in the textile industry, a significant impact on their business. We need to make sure that we are monitoring and managing every one of our suppliers and ensuring that they are operating in a morally acceptable way. So when you're looking to transform your business, you have to make sure that our four-sided triangle, as we called it, is in balance. So if you decide to have a technology-driven transformation alone, it will fall over. If you just look at process without supporting technology, it will fall over. If you just look at changing the people within your organization, it will fall over. And if you don't have the right governance in place. So we started with trying to make sure that we had world-class processes within our business, understanding what they should look like and how far away from those processes are we. Technology, in my opinion, should be supportive of those processes and the objectives of the business, and not driving the processes. If you start with the systems alone, then I do believe that it will fall over. You need clarity of ownership. You need to make sure that you have a team capable of taking you forward, and you have the right skills and competencies. And I really enjoyed listening to David just about cognitive diversity. And this needs to be underpinned by the right governance in your organisation and the right support coming from the leadership within your organisation, so that everyone understands the direction that you're travelling in. So when we look at transformation, you need ownership. Okay, so it is very difficult to redecorate the shop when you're still selling clothes. You need to make sure that you pull the resources out of the business, that you have the right skills to be able to transform the function, to be able to understand what you need and what needs to be done to take the business forward. So you need to have the right skills. You need to have, as David said, diversity of thought. This is something that we made sure we had in our team. I do not want people in my team that are exactly the same as me. We'd have great fun, but we'd get nothing done. My head of enablement and transformation is ex-NATO. Never been near a procurement function in his life, but had the right skills, capabilities, and thought process to be able to drive us forward. It's really important that you understand who you are as an individual, and that you have people that complement that. So I'm very yellow. I need some red directive people around me in my team. But then you need to make sure that you've got a high-performing team culture that allows that to work, that you feel comfortable challenging each other, that you are able to speak. And we talk about something called passionate, unfiltered debate. And we will absolutely discuss and debate amongst each other on the right direction. But when we leave the room and we've made a decision, we all back it and we all support it. So those are really important bedrocks. If you think about circular economy and procurement, so let's be clear. We're all hearing a lot about sustainability and the importance of fixing things that are going wrong in society and on the planet. And a circular economy is a necessity for climate neutrality. We need to make sure that we are focusing on this. And what is the circular economy? Well, for a long time, we've all been part of, and I have absolutely been part of this process of, we take product out of the ground, we make things with it, and then it becomes waste, and it's disposed of, and we move on to the next thing. I got a new iPhone 13 last week, but I'm sure my last phone will be recycled in some way and the parts reused within society. But we are still part of that activity. So the three circular economy principles that we build things around are: how do we eliminate waste? And how do we eliminate the impact on climate and on pollution? And we need to be considering those throughout our supply chain, not just in the product that we make, but also through to our suppliers. We need to keep the products that we make and the materials that we use in circulation for as long as possible, and think about what can be their usage beyond. And then we need to regenerate the natural resources that we're using at the start of this supply chain. So we don't take and use, but we replace. And certainly the stewardship in forestry that at the start of our paper-making process is extremely important, that you're managing that effectively. So circular procurement looks at supply chains and the purchasing choices that we make within our business. And there's 5 key factors that we try to consider when we're working with our strategic partners. So first of all, traceability and transparency. So we need to make sure that the goods and services that we are buying are from trusted suppliers and they are from the highest standards. Circulytic assessment. So this is something that we have been working with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which kind of holds the mirror up to you as an organization and holds the mirror up to your suppliers and enables you to say, where are we? Where are our opportunities? What are our red spots? What do we need to work on together to try and improve what's going on? In our supply chains, there are many things that we can still do to optimize, but make sure that we are optimizing them from a sustainability, social, and circulitic thinking, that we're making sure that the design of the products that we make are the most sustainable. We need to make sure that we maintain our focus on quality, but we use materials that enable us to be more circular in our thinking. And finally, optimal use, making sure that we are minimizing the use of products within our packaging, so making it thinner and stronger and smaller and tighter and stacks better and takes more load and enables us to be more efficient. So Ellen MacArthur, we've been working with the foundation for a number of years now, and we've been part of their development of something called Circulytics. Circulytics is enabling us to put our suppliers through this principle to determine where are you, and it gives us that mirror to have a look at yourself, and very important. When we're looking at circular thinking, there are multiple points within the supply chain, the procurement process, where we can consider the impact of sustainability and circular thinking. And you have to make sure that the business buys into this very early on in the process, because if at the end of the process it just comes down to price or cost, then you're going to have a difficult time. You have to make sure that you are measuring appropriately the benefits that come to your organization from circular thinking, and what that does to your brand and what that does to your relationship with your customers. Almost every one of our customers, the larger customers, are thinking about this. They're demanding improvements from us on this. So it is becoming almost a license to operate. And they are measuring us now on each of these things. This is the circularity assessment that comes back on our suppliers. So it talks about what are your enablers and how effective are you of turning those enablers into outcomes that can drive change within your business, within your supply chain, and within your supply base. We also do other things to measure our performance. So we use lean linking to do a pre-qualification stage to make sure that the suppliers that we're using are effective and appropriate, and they are not morally corrupt. You know, it's not unfortunately going to be the government that finds something in your supply chain that's wrong. It's going to be a newspaper, and they want to find things wrong, and we need to make sure that there is nothing wrong for them to find. But we also own this problem within procurement. We also work with EcoVadis. So EcoVadis gives us a number of key assessments for each of our suppliers that we then work on them on projects to improve their impact on environment, their labour and human rights, their ethics as an organisation. I'm sure everyone in here does financial credit risk monitoring, but it's become more appropriate in the last 18 months, really, as a lot of companies have struggled with cash, they've struggled with investment, and right now many are struggling with the commodity prices and the impact that's having on their business. We do a lot of risk profiling. So again, we've been working with EcoVadis to try and create their system called EcoVadis IQ, which helps you to hone in on where are the potential problems that you're facing within your supply chain. So looking at high-risk countries, high-risk supply chains, high-risk products, high-risk material content, so that you can start and focus on those key items. You can't do that with 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 suppliers. So how does this support the wider business objectives? So at DS Smith, we launched our now and next strategy. And this is about making sure that we have short-term, medium-term, and long-term objectives for us as a business to make sure that we are meeting society needs, customer expectations. And much of this is becoming a license to operate now. It's not about just becoming a differentiator. It's also becoming an expectation, a minimum standard that you must be working on. And we're looking at how can we close the loop, and working with our customers and our suppliers to do that. Every one of our 700 designers at DS Smith has been through circular design principles. And one thing that we launched a couple of weeks ago was the ability for every one of the designs that our customers have to be assessed against 6 different criteria to enable them to understand how circular is the design, and how does it meet the expectations of what society is needing. So we see it as a differentiator right now, but I do see it as a minimum license to operate in short time. So we're looking to make all of our products 100% recyclable. We are by the end of this year. The circular design principles make sure that the packaging solution that has been designed meets the minimum social impact. We have a target to take 250,000 lorries off the road to make sure that the product is stacking better and becomes a better unit. And that's a commitment that we have in our next external strategy. Optimizing fiber use, so make sure that the fibers that we use in our recycled cardboard last as long as possible. Recycling is a challenge right now because the supply chain has changed over the last 18 months, certainly in packaging. It used to be very neatly collected at a supermarket. It would be stacked and ready for us to use. It would go straight back into our process. We'd break down the fibers and we'd make new rolls of paper. Today, a lot of that fiber is in my orange bin and your orange bin. And that's a 2-week extension automatically to the supply chain. And then when it comes back, it's not in that beautiful, clean position where it's cardboard and cardboard and cardboard, but there's an aluminium can in there and there's plastic in there, and if someone has not been very diligent, there might be a nappy in there. And that has to be sorted and collected. So there are challenges that the change in supply chain over the last 18 months has led to us, and we've got to fix that. Replacing problem plastics. I think almost every one of our customers is working with us to replace something that they have in their portfolio that has unhelpful plastics in it, and we have those solutions, and we're working with them to get those products off the shelves. So, the key takeaways from this really is around, first of all, if you're going to enter into a transformation, you need to be asking yourself, why am I doing this? What is the expectation from the business, from our shareholders, from our customers, from the consumers, from the employees? Why are we doing this? What are we trying to achieve? To recognize that it is a changing world and that we are under the microscope when it comes to procurement and supply chain, from a sustainability, from a circularity, but also making sure that the suppliers that we're using are doing the right thing, that they have the right standards, that they are looking after their people, that they're employing people in an appropriate way. We own that, and we have to fix that, and we have to have zero tolerance. Having a balanced approach between process, technology, organizational design, and effectiveness of your employees, but also putting a governance in place that enables you to hold on to those improvements that have been creative. When it comes to circular procurement and sustainability, it is a license to operate, and therefore you have to be thinking about it now. It's not something that you can wait. I mean, COP26 is coming in 6 weeks' time, but every organization, if they're not already thinking about it, will have to make some changes to achieve the kind of challenges that are going to be set on all of us in November. But I believe it's if you act now, it's a competitive advantage, and that's certainly how we see it at DS Smith. Getting ahead of the game in this area gives us an opportunity to differentiate ourselves to the market. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Alex. We've had loads of questions come in already.
Good.
If anyone has any questions from the floor, usual thing, if you can just throw your hand up and we'll get a mic over to you. But for now, we'll turn straight to the questions I have here. Okay, so a question here from Mike saying, how important or useful can blockchain be in a circular procurement strategy? I imagine it's pretty essential.
I've been watching the development of blockchain for the last, I guess, 6-7 years now, and lots of trials and lots of opportunities. And I think there's huge potential with it, but I haven't actually seen anybody grab it yet and make it work efficiently and effectively and cost effectively. I think it's wonderful, but I don't know how it fits everything yet. And I just hope it doesn't become the VHS of supply chain, that is a wonderful thing but never gets fully deployed within society. There's lots of trials going on and great results, but are many of the supply chains ready for it? I'm not so sure.
I think that's the difficulty, isn't it? Because everyone wants that transparency in the supply chain, and sustainability almost demands it. But how do you actually monitor it? And if you don't have something like blockchain, then the system's just open to abuse anyway.
Yeah. So there are other things that are being reviewed and considered. For example, very cost-effective tags and RFIDs that enable you to follow your product.
Yeah.
So you understand what happens to it, where does it go, what's the length of the supply chain, where does it end up. Whether or not you need to do that with every one of the 20 billion boxes that we make each year is a question. But to be able to understand your supply chain, you need to be able to do it with some of them. And blockchain, I don't know how it measures my orange bin at home and what I'm doing and the behavior. But yeah, we'll see.
So as a suite of solutions, blockchain could play a role in that, I suppose, but it would need to be more than just blockchain.
In my opinion, yes.
Yeah, okay, great. Now, there's a question on here, actually, that I'm going to ask. It's not actually on the screen there. 1 second. Oh, yeah, because you mentioned during your presentation, make sure businesses buy into circular procurement. But how do you make a business do that? Or how do you make the leaders of that business do it?
So, first of all, you have to have a voice within the company. So you do that by making sure that you are satisfying the business needs. So, whatever the business needs are at the moment, and the focus around quality, around operational efficiency, around cost reduction, around innovation, the staple things that a procurement function should be delivering, you'd better be delivering those first. And then when you've got that acceptance and that understanding of the value that's being brought by the function, then you can start talking about some of the other issues. And many organizations anyway are kind of asking this question already, and it's there ready for procurement to say, we can help with that. Many of our customers, especially when you're a B2B manufacturer like us, many of our blue chip organizations that we provide solutions to are asking us those questions. And therefore we need to find those solutions. They're measuring us, they're challenging us. So it's easier for a company like ours, but I believe that it is our responsibility to be working on this, whatever industry you're in, and it will become essential. Yeah. There's a lot of investment going on, a lot of funds that are only looking at sustainable organizations. And therefore, if that investment gets taken away from your organization, it will open the eyes very quickly.
Yeah, I think that's already happening, isn't it? You can see how lots of companies are reacting pretty swiftly at the moment and pivoting certain aspects of their business because they don't want to miss out on those green funds. And any questions from the floor before I take some here? Yeah, at the front, please.
Yes, Guy.
Guy Strafford from Proxima. Alex, thank you for that speech. How much progress are you making on sort of tracking the CO2 emissions that are within your value chain Because it seems to me that's quite a difficult journey, and a lot of people are grappling with that.
Yeah. So we are a huge energy consumer internally, and we produce a lot of electricity and we sell to the grid. So for us, it's a significant challenge already that we've been working on for a while. So within our organisation, that has been our absolute focus. But I expect post-November we will be setting ourselves new targets, and Scope 3 assessment will become part of that. I think because of the size of the internal issue that we've been focusing on, that's been our priority. But that challenge is coming, and how we measure, how we improve is going to be a real challenge for us and industry. We're all going to sign up to commitments this year, I'm sure, but then it becomes how effective are you and how easy is it to measure those things. And I think there's going to be a lot of soul searching. I think many organisations are struggling with that right now.
Okay, one final question from the boards here. Will companies align circular economy initiatives with climate goals, or continue to treat these as discrete initiatives? And that question's from Mark.
Will companies?
Yeah.
So I can talk about my company. So,
absolutely, yeah.
Every one of our 700 designers have been through circular design principles, and they are now working with all of our customers on every product that they buy from us, to thinking about how can we change, how can we reduce the impact of that product, how can we make sure that it has a longer life, that it is reusable or at least recyclable, or the inserts that might go in the package that we provide are just as sustainable as the outer box that we are producing. So for us, there's no, well, this side of our business is circular, this side we don't bother with. We're looking at every part of our business to make sure that we are using raw materials and design principles that meet those goals. So we're not differentiating.
Okay, I think that answers Mark.